Hello, Virgo. I have prayed over the cards, shuffled them, asked that each of you receives at least one message. Hopefully they will come through with that in under an hour. Okay. So let's see what is going to be going on. So many of you that are out there, you're going through some changes. So to read what the cards are, in case it doesn't show you very clearly at the bottom, we've got 3, which is between worlds. Then we have 51, milk and honey, and then detach, which is 11. But a lot of you are in the midst of transition. It's a stressful time of transition. You're not completely out of the one situation yet, and yet starting to embark on the new situation. And the situation you're leaving has not been good. You see here, this card's dark, it's lifeless, yet stepping into something beautiful, regal. There's a crown on top of there. And they're saying, most of you, this is love related. You're leaving a partner for a new partner. For some, you could be transitioning jobs, careers, starting your own business. It is a big change. It is a huge milestone. And there's a lot of fear surrounding it. And it's, for everyone, it's an emotional change. We have the water here. We have hummingbird. There's this little hummingbird right up above his back. Hummingbirds represent courage, fearlessness. It's interesting, this spring I was contemplating embarking on something, and it was a very difficult thing for me to do. And as I sat here and I was praying and thinking about it, I had this hummingbird that it was knocking on. I have these French glass doors leading out to my patio, and this hummingbird was just going crazy, knocking on the window. That's when I discovered what hummingbirds are for. They're to have us step into our courage, be fearless. And for those of you in the midst of this transition, they're encouraging you to be fearless, to move forward. This change you're embarking upon. It is something that's going to be worth celebrating. But a number of you, you're hesitant to move forward in it because you're not certain what the outcome is going to be yet. But they want you to know you will not be disappointed. It's going to turn out better than you imagine. You see there's a crown. It's divinely watched over. And see these feathers? They're talking about how you're going to push out your feathers with pride. You will be feeling very regal and royal when you get to the other side and you realize how blessed this is. And there's all these little streamers. I don't think you guys can actually see those, but there's all these little streamers. It is something worth celebrating. You can't see that yet, though. You can't see that because they're saying you're still stuck in the situation that you're leaving. And you're fearful. Some of you are fearful you're going to be walking into another situation that's similar. You're fearful of the risk. What if I let go of this and I risk everything and it doesn't turn out as I anticipated? Because there's been signs, a lot of signs clearly that this is where you're to be going, but everything hasn't been completely laid out. There's no physical confirmation. There's a lot of fear surrounding it. So you don't have 100% certainty that, okay, if I move forward with this person, yes, he's going to marry me. Yes, she's going to marry me. Yes, it's going to turn out perfectly. Or if I, invest this money and start this venture, okay, I'm going to reap the rewards 100 times. And you've got that in writing. You do not have that. So you're fearful. But they're saying, don't be afraid. This is a blessing. This is something for you to look forward to. And to be positive, because you're fearful. There's a lot of fear surrounding it. They keep talking about the darkness, the clouds, the uncertainty, the fear that's surrounding it. Fear that you'll be disappointed, fear that you're going to give up a bad situation and be left with nothing. But you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be thankful that you made that move. So be fearless as you move forward and explore. And it is watched over by the heavens. This card, number 3 talks about having so much divine help surrounding you. So you are surrounded by angels, by Jesus, by the ascended masters. They're helping guide your steps. All you need to do is, they're saying all you need to do is take that step. Take the step and trust. Now the next card that we have here is milk and honey, and the number at the top is 51. And you have this little elephant, he's in the bowl, and yeah, you guys can see that. And you've got this rainbow overhead, and you've got honey and milk, and there's this face in the clouds. So, this card, it's all about, prosperity, authentic opportunities, and abundance, and trusting that all of your needs will be met. And not just some, but all. Everything from love to finances, everything. It's really, truly entering a sweet, blissful time of celebration in life, where everything is sweet in life. Like you're really in the land of milk and honey, where it's just more than you could ever expect, more than you could ever imagine. And all you do is you just want to roll around in it. You just want to roll around in it every day because you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. That's where you're headed. It truly is a time of unlimited possibilities, blessings. For those of you that this is love related, because getting at most of you, this is love related. It's a time of, sensuality, love, connection, passion, romance, sweet moments shared between lovers. It's answered prayers, your heart's calling, the things that you desire being answered with someone. And they keep saying authenticity, requited love. So some of you are leaving a situation where a person was not authentic and honest. In any relationship, it doesn't have to be just even romantic. Say, if you're embarking on a business partnership with someone, if they're not going to be honest and forthright and transparent with you, that's not a foundation in which to build upon any relationship, be it romantic, business. Every relationship has to be founded on truth, authenticity, transparency. You have to be able to trust that person. Trust what they say, trust what they do. Because otherwise, why would you go into a commitment with that person? And so they're saying many of you are leaving a situation where that person was not authentic, was not honest, deceitful. For some, it was unrequited love, but they were leading you to believe that they did. For some, it's to use you, for some to keep you there as a backup plan, a plan B. But regardless of the situation you're in, it was not a good situation. It was not honest. It's not what you desire, what your heart desires, but what you are heading into is what your heart desires. And you are being compelled in that direction because it's everything that your heart desires. Now, on the flip side, a warning with this is that what they're saying some of you they're pointing out the clouds. So clouds talk about not having clarity, not having the truth, that you're being protected because you're scared. Okay, so they're saying that some of you have received or are receiving or about to receive some clarity as to what is really going on with this situation that you are leaving. You've been contemplating leaving this situation, leaving this person for a long time, but you have been fearful of taking that step. Most of you have someone else, a new opportunity, a new lover, a new partner in the wings, but you're not taking that step forward. You're holding on to this person, this past, this situation out of fear and out of not really knowing what's going on, not having the clarity. But they're saying that the clarity most of you have just recently received. You've just recently received some information. But to resist the urge, okay, so the flip side of milk and honey, you're heading to this new blissful thing. You're leaving something that you have been with, they're saying a number of you, a very long time. So you've been with this lover, this partner, this situation for a very long time. So even though it's miserable and it's not happy, and there's been deceit and lies and a lot of things that have occurred during that duration, it's still comfort because that's what you know. So they're encouraging you to not take a misstep in a moment of fleeting fear or concern to go back to the situation that you're starting to finally depart, because you'll end up feeling worse than before. Continue to struggle, and it'll bring a lot of regret. So pray, ask for help. Know that the troubles, the struggles, the things that you've been going through are behind you now. They really are behind you. Love yourself enough to know that you deserve those blessings, because some of you beat yourself up. Don't think that you deserve them, or you deserve those blessings that are coming your way for things that people have said to you, made you doubt yourself. But you're loved. You're being brought this divine blessing. I mean, you've got this crown, you've got this face. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. Of course, we have the glare. Mid-afternoon, but mid-afternoon's perfect because the dogs are sleeping. But you've got this face right there. It's watched over by the heavens. There's nothing to fear. It's going to be so good, you're going to want to roll around it and have a party. So the next card that we have, the last card that we have, is attached. It's detached. It's number 11. Now, 11 it's a master number, and it's a number. It's a number that talks about staying positive. Just as base core root, it's really about staying positive, because your thoughts are manifesting very rapidly. So many of you, a lot of you actually have been seeing this number. 11's it's a divine number. It's a number for twins. It's a number of synchronicity. It's a number of action, trying to move you forward into what you're meant to be doing and where you're meant to be going. So actually, a number of you, if you think about it, when you've been contemplating this situation, you'll probably recall that you looked at the clock and you've seen 11:11. That's because you were contemplating the direction you should be going in, and it's a call to action to get you to move forward, to take that step. But you're fearful. Like, if you look at her face, she's fearful, she's sad, she's worried. And 51 is also another number that talks about staying positive. And then if you boil it down to 6, 6 talks about don't worry about the materialistic things. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about finances. There's so much fear surrounding this. So everyone, whatever situation you're in, there's just so much fear. But the card Detached, this is a major arcana. So this is a game changer. This is a huge shift for your life. And this card, it talks about, you know, reflecting on things, accepting things, having the clarity, accepting responsibility, making a decision. Because many of you, you've had a hard time seeing things clearly. Remember how you've just recently got some information. Some of you, you've been getting information repeatedly for months, and for some of you years, but because that person, that situation was comfort, you constantly continued to go back to them, to that situation, only to get hurt again, to get burned again. And then you would start to move forward, then you'd go back. They're trying to get that cycle to break. It's time to break that cycle. But you've had something that's come in again, that's again giving you more clarity. But this time, the divine has turned up the heat, turned up the intensity, because it's time. This card, it talks about many of you, it is time for you to detach emotionally from a relationship. For most of you, some of you, for this situation that you're in, for you to step back, evaluate it, and detach from it. And they're saying most of you have already done the contemplation. You know, you've been contemplating, okay, you know, what am I receiving from this relationship situation? Is it satisfying? Is it gratifying? Am I getting a return on investment? Because if you make an honest appraisal of the situation, it not only gives you clarity that the scale is off balance, it's not in your favor, but it will also give you the clarity of what your next steps are. Where do you go from here? And this card, it's also a card that talks about, you know, when evaluating those things, it's important to look at, you know, and accept that person, the people involved, accept their actions, accept your actions, accept the decisions that you've made, the beliefs that you've had that have gotten you to this point, no matter how difficult or pleasant. Because for a number of you, this was a very good situation. So this was a lover, a partner, where things were very positive when it first began. For some of you, it began months ago. For some of you, it began years ago. But that shifted. And it's not shifted back since, and it's not going to. Because they're saying for a number of you, you've held on in hopes that things would improve. For some of you, you've held on because you've invested, money keeps coming up. So you've invested a lot of money and time and effort in hopes of getting like a return on your investment, and you haven't. And like here, there's like this tree. So for some of you, you know, you had this person, spouse, ex-spouse, lover. You invested all this in hopes of planting, to have this tree, to have this family, to have these things that you desired, to have it take root and really grow. But it's dead and lifeless. That actually, I don't think you guys can see that clearly. But if you look at the tree, it's dead. It's lifeless. And you've emotionally been left out in the cold. If you look here, there's this snow. It's an icy winter. But it's been an emotional decision. And what you had hoped would take and bear fruit has not. So by assessing this situation, accepting responsibility, looking at it, having that clarity, you will be able to actually free yourself. And free yourself with no guilt, because this is only going to empower you and give you the clarity. Because once you've detached from this relationship or situation, lack of relationship, you'll be able and prepared to make a decision and take your next step. And now in the traditional tarot, this card is actually the Justice card. And, you know, the Justice card, it's a card that talks about, you know, reaping what you sow. And not that that's a bad thing, because I'm getting, for those of you in this situation, you have given your all to this. You will get it back, but I'm not getting that you'll get it back from this person. Because like if you look at the traditional Rider-Waite deck of Justice, it's this woman, this judge, and she's there, and in her one hand, I think it's her left hand, she's holding scales, but she's not blindfolded. Her eyes are fully opened. Here, her eyes are fully open. She has the cloak pulled back, but she's not blindfolded. She can see the truth. She can see all aspects. She has complete clarity. So she can ascertain the truth, cut through the BS, and make a decision. Now, Allie, I'm getting, for some of you, this is a very hard decision, because you have tied yourself contractually. Like there's a knot in her belt. So for some of you, you have tied yourself somehow contractually, financially with someone. Or for some, it could be a couple people in a situation, but I'm getting for majority of you, it's someone. And for many of you, it's a romantic involvement. So you've invested in them, not just personally, but you have invested in their, invested in property, invested in real estate together, invested in their business ventures, but you're somehow contractually tied and bound to them. And doves represent hope. White represents purity, God, the divine watching over it. Getting that some of you, you have invested so heavily in this person, emotionally, financially, in hopes that it would grow and become this partnership, this love of a lifetime. And they're also saying financially, because for some of you, you've invested in a business with that person as well, but you've held all this hope. You're saying for some of you, you don't even want to be romantically involved with that person anymore, but you're fearful of losing everything that you've invested. You're afraid that if you break that contract, break those ties, you'll lose all of it. And for some of you, that's why you're staying stuck, which is why they're saying you have got to stay positive. And those are tough decisions to make. I don't often share my own personal stories, but I had a relationship years ago where I had this relationship, and I had loaned him lots and lots and lots of money, 6 digits plus of money. But I got to a similar point of, okay, this isn't working romantically, this is not working financially, this is all around not good. I had to walk away from that situation, having lost it all. And it was not an easy decision to make, but I did it. And God has blessed my life so much, so much. I have regained all that money that I lost and then more. So for those of you that are in that situation that are being stuck because of money, don't allow that to keep you stuck, because they have so many beautiful things ready for you. Now let's pull some Lenormands just for some clarity, because there may be some additional information in here for you guys. So let's push these up a little bit. Make sure you guys can still see them. Allie. So get some clarity on the between the worlds. So we have 3 cards. The first card we have here is birds. And you know, birds, this is a card that talks about relationships, communications, typically, you know, communications, information, announcements from lovers. And sometimes it can also talk about, like, you know, communications on, like, you know, electronic devices, Twitter, like mass communications. So ways that you do mass communications, you know, you can do emails, you can do Twitter, you can do, it's very quick way to get announcements. But it's not like communications between, like, a lover, a mate, a partner. And you thought, so, okay, so they're saying, some of you received this message from a lover, your lover. And it came in and you thought it was very, very lucky, because we have the clover. And so you got this message that came in from your lover and you're like, oh my gosh. So some of you, you're leaving someone behind, this person who is not good for you. You have a new person. You got a communication from that person. And when you got it, it made you feel so lucky. It was good news. Good fortune, but you're fearful because, so the card fish, you know, fish is a card that talks about, you know, abundance, resources, money, but you're fearful. There's some of you out there, you have a new love interest, a new partner. You want to leave the person behind and move forward with this new person. You're still stuck in between 2 people though. They were drawing my attention to the 3. So it's a love triangle. You're not yet free of the person from the past. You've got to detach and free yourself from that person, they're saying, but you have this new person. You got a communication from them. It made you very happy, made you want to move forward, because that person's your milk and your honey. You want to be with that person, but you're fearful that you're fearful about finances, money. They're saying for some appearances that you keep up false pretenses, false appearances, but for most of you, it's money. Now they're saying for some of you, it's because money, finance is tied to that person from your past. You know how they were talking contractual, for some of you, there's this like contractual agreement founded on finances with this person from the past, maybe your ex-spouse or an ex-lover. I mean, for some of you, maybe you own some property together, and maybe you're like, okay, I can't move forward to be with him until I get rid of this property with my ex-husband. But I want to. But I'm fearful that, okay, you know, I've gotten this hope that, okay, he wants the same thing too. I've gotten this announcement from him. Oh my gosh, I really, really want that. But I don't have the finances. And they're saying for some of you, it's almost like a situation that, okay, you fear once that person finds out you still have this financial ties to the person from the past, that it'll ruin all chances. And for some, it's just fear of not having the finances to support a family. Like, okay, I have this person that, oh my gosh, I want to have a future and family and life with them, but because of how much I've invested with this person, and oh my gosh, my money tree died and it's dead and crumbling, I don't have the means at this point to provide, to take care, to do things at the standard in which I believe they should be. And again, that's why they're saying to not worry. Which would be why all these cards, all the numbers at the top of the cards the whole time, have all been talking about staying positive, particularly about money, finances. You wouldn't have God, Jesus, and the angels bring you to something and not have them take care of you. So let's See, that's why I don't like to move cards. Let's get some clarity on. Wow. Card number 2. Okay, so the first card we have is the lady. And this, you know, she's thinking about her love. She's contemplating. She likes clarity. Then you have, you know, because the card with the lady, it's talking about love and how she's thinking about her lover. She's missing her lover. You've got the rose. They're saying she's alone. She's alone in this card, waiting for him. Her thoughts are wandering. She's contemplating, waiting for her counterpart, her other half. Now the next card we have is the cross. And this is a card that represents, you know, it talks about, you know, grief and sadness and burdens. And, you know, some people would say it's like, you know, I have this heavy cross to bear. It's also a card that talks about, you know, taking responsibility regardless of the cost, which can be frightening. But the interesting thing is the final card, the outcome of this is the ring. And this is a card that talks about, you know, marriage, commitment, unions, bonds, eternal love, eternal devotion, completion of cycles with regards to love. They're saying full circle, starting over anew. So for some of you, you have a new love interest and you want to be with her. She's your milk and honey. She's who you're trying to move toward and be with. However, because of things that have transpired in the past, you're fearful she won't accept you. They're saying for some, you know, you're fearful she, and I'm saying she, it's depicted what's in the card, but of course it could be, you know, he. But you're fearful that, you know, she won't accept you because of things that have transpired between the two of you in the past. They're pointing out the book, communications. There's something with communications, lack of communications in the past, things that were said to each other in the past that have been said and done to each other. For some of you, you're fearful that she won't accept you because of this connection, this contractual agreement with your ex-lover, ex-partner. For some of you, it's, you know, the finances. You're afraid that, you know, once she finds out, because I get some of you, you've lost very heavily financially, but you're going to bounce back from that. But it's caused this fear in you that she's not going to accept you. That they're saying for those of you in the situation, you found this lover. She's everything you want. She's your milk and honey. You realize that now, but you are terrified that you have ruined your chances. But what you're missing is it's watched over by the heavens. They're saying she's your queen. They're pointing out that crown, saying she's your queen. The outcome will be commitment, will be marriage, will be everything that you desire when you get past this hurdle of your fear. And last clarifier, let's do detach. So much for a short reading, right? Okay, so the first one we have is book 26. And this is a card that talks about, you know, secrets, things that are hidden, things that we need to know, things that someone's keeping under lock and key. You see, it's kind of like a safe, things that someone is keeping hidden from us, purposefully keeping hidden from us. And the next card that we have is the moon. And this is a card, it's, you know, talks about love and romance. You know, there's a saying, I love you to the moon and back. And it also talks about, you know, psychic abilities, intuition. They're pointing out the star, divine star. We're going to come right back to that one in a minute. The third card that we have here is the anchor. Let's see if we can get you guys to see that with no glare. And this is, you know, it talks about, you know, your stability, your security, your foundation. For many, you know, finances, wealth, income. For some, you know, anchors like your rock, it's your family, it's your home, it's your spouse, it's the person you built your foundation with. So some of you had started to build this foundation with someone, and they have kept information under lock and key and hidden from you, and you have discovered that information. Now, for some of you, this card's representing that, you know, you're just finding out this information, you're realizing this information. For some of you, what they were saying with the star is that, okay, you thought that this person, you know, the star, that's like, oh my gosh, this is everything I've ever dreamt of, everything I've ever wanted. You've realized that person is not that. It was built on a false foundation. But for some, they're saying you are in denial. Because our intuition, our psychic abilities, the moon, that's a time that we get clarity. We get the information that we need in order to move forward. So they're saying that some of you are not wanting to accept things. you're not wanting to truly see things as they are. You're not wanting to see, because it's hard when you have invested so much and you're fearful of losing that. For some, you're fearful if you leave and move on, that, okay, that person's going to have success with someone else. The business will be a success once you leave. Some of you are fearful because you feel as though you're losing it all. But everyone, regardless of the situation, you're fearful. Everyone in the situation has received the clarity that they need, which was kept from you purposefully. Now, there's a small number of you that are going to be receiving the clarity in the very near future. But you've known it for a long time. It is definitely matters of the heart. They're saying there's a heart at the bottom of that card. This is a time that you have to accept things as they are. You're also, for some, you're getting the emotional clarity. That this person isn't, you thought they were your moon and stars, you love them to moon back, you realize that they are not that for you. And for some, you're not wanting to see it out of fear. So, you know, they're saying some of you are like awake at night with nightmares, with fear, with worries. You're very distraught about this. Because the thing that you need to do to free yourself from it is to pull up on your anchor with them. There's boat parties. I like to have boat parties with my friends where we all connect our boats together. You've hitched your boat to the wrong one. It's an emotional decision for many. But they're saying in order to take, they're pointing at the birds, in order to take flight, in order to get out of the between phase, in order to get to the milk and honey, you're going to have to pull up your anchor. See how this bird is flying forward? They're saying your stability is in the future. It's elsewhere. When this number is 35, when you add that together, it's 8. It's a divine 8. It represents eternal love, divine love, which I think is funny falling on the 11. They're trying to lead you to a divine love, which is where your anchor will be. They're saying have the courage, have hope. Okay, let's see what's on the bottom. So on the bottom, just want to see like what the overarching energy of this is. We have mice. Mice, they steal what's valuable. They eat it, they take it. They're saying don't allow the bad apple to ruin the applesauce. So you had someone steal what you had hoped for, what you thought for, what you had invested in. All is not lost. You haven't lost everything. Look what you have awaiting you. All of these cards are dark. You got a little bit here of your worry. There's a lot of fear, but there's nothing to fear. Look how beautiful what you're heading into is. You're leaving this cold, icy, desolate, dead situation, dark and cloudy, with lack of clarity, because you have been purposefully deceived, purposefully kept information, had information kept from you, into something beautiful, regal, royal, blessed. And it's funny because the card that was underneath the mice, because once you get rid of the bad apple that's ruining the applesauce, you have a new beginning. You have a stork. You'll give birth to a new beginning. When women give birth to children, very painful. It's a painful process for you to give birth to this new beginning, but it is going to be beautiful. It is going to be worth it. You are nearing the end of the pain, though, that they're saying. Just keep praying, keep asking for their help, ask for signs. Those of you that are in this situation, just, ask them to give you a sign. Ask them to help you with that. If you have to have a, difficult conversation, ask Archangel Michael to help you. Ask Archangel Gabriel to help you with the words. When I get ready to do these readings for you guys, I always ask that she comes in and helps me, because she's the communicator. She's the queen of communication. So if you have to have a conversation with someone, if you have to, break that contract, if you have to reopen the communications, ask Archangel Gabriel to help you do that. If you have to have courage to take that step forward and to break that contract and those ties, ask Archangel Michael to help you, give you the strength. And he will. For the money, pray and ask for financial abundance. I cannot tell you how many times I have asked for funds, asked for assistance, and I have had a check show up the very next day. All you have to do is ask. The angels glorify God by helping us. They cannot help us if we do not ask for their help. They will sit and facepalm all day long thinking, oh my gosh, why is she doing that again? Why is he doing that again? And they will not intervene until we ask for their help. They only do that if we are in a life or death situation. So ask for their help. You're completely surrounded by a divine team. All you need to do is ask for help, because they have something beautiful for you. And they will make it easy for you, and they will clear away. And they're saying for some of you, there's some legal assistance that's needed. Ask that they help you get that legal assistance, and ask that they also provide the financial means to pay for it, because attorneys aren't cheap. They are not, but God will provide. So all you do have to do is ask. I hope that it's filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings. I'll talk with you again soon.